Greeting, fellow Linux users. Tonight's video is going to be a little bit of a niche video. Why, you may be wondering? Well, the other day at work I ran into a situation where I needed to clear a MySQL database without actually deleting the database itself. Basically, I needed to figure out a way to bulk drop all the tables so that we could recreate them again. You might be thinking, but Adam, why would you want to do that? Just drop the database and recreate it. It's simple. And you'd be right. It is the right way to do it, and it is real simple and fast. But in this case, I did not have sysadmin access to the database server. I just have read-write access to the database in question. So dropping the database was not an option. This is one of the problems you can run into when you're using a hosting service instead of hosting on your own company-owned servers. So here's what I chose to do to take care of the issue. I made an SQL dump of the database in question, minus any data, and then pulled out all the drop tables and then piped them back into MySQL to drop just the tables. It worked like a charm, but I wanted to automate this just a little bit so one of my coworkers could use this script anytime they needed to clear a database. So I created a simple shell script that would do this for me. The script would take 3 command line parameters and then pass them to my SQL dump and then do all the dirty work for me. It's quick, it's easy, and all my coworker needs to know is the database name, the username, and the password. Pretty straightforward. So we're going to go ahead and write that script today just so you can see what I did. I'm going to recreate it. So open up a shell on the server that has the database on it. Fortunately, I did have shell access to that database server, so that really made this easy. And it's a single user server, so there was no risk of anyone seeing any passwords being passed to command line. So be aware that this will show the database name and password and username if you do a PS while it's running. So don't do this on a multi-user environment. This is for a single user environment. If you want to do it on a multi-user environment, then ignore all the password stuff that we're going to do in here. You can just take it out, delete it, and then MySQL will actually prompt you for the password a couple times to do the job for you. So I'm going to go ahead and call this SQL Nuke. That way, I'll know what this script is. If I run into it 5 years down the road, then at least the file name will be pretty descriptive of what it is. So the first line in a bash script or a shell script, I usually put in, I tell the interpreter that I want to run this under bash. You don't have to do this if you know the environment is going to be bash or a bash compatible shell, but sometimes you get weird people out there that are using something like Z shell or something like that. So we're going to go ahead and tell it to use the bash shell. Next, we're going to do a little sanity check and make sure that we are past 3 parameters on the command line. And if we don't have the 3 parameters, we're going to go ahead and just bail out at this time. So instead of typing all of this, I'm going to do a little Copypasta just to make it go a little quicker. So in bash shell, a -z is a check to see if something is empty. So we're checking the 3 parameters, $1, $2, and $3, to see if they're empty or contain any data. And if any of them are empty, then it'll pass as true, and we don't really want that to happen. So on a pass true, we will go ahead and abort the script. So we'll warn the user that we're aborting the script because there's missing some data. So we'll say, you are missing some data. We'll call parameters. Did I spell that right? You need to pass database name, user name, and password. Now, if you want this script to not require you to pass the password at the command line, you can get rid of this OR statement here, and then it'll only check the 2. But in this case, I am going to pass it. Okay, so then we're going to exit out of the script, and FI is to finish the then statement. Okay, so now we know, if we got to this point, we know that the 3 parameters were passed. So let's go ahead and just make sure that you really want to do this. So we're going to use the bash read command, and P is Dash P is for prompt. This will be the prompt. Are you really sure you want to nuke $1? Question mark. And then we'll just give a little hint of what we're expecting here, a yes or a no. We'll do the N as capital to show that it's default. So now we say dash N1, say we're expecting one input character, and then dash R, and I don't remember what dash R is. Sorry about that. So we're gonna just put a little echo statement here to clean up, to make it look nice after they hit the letter, so that we're not concatenating our next output to the end of that line. So now we're going to do an if statement again. We're going to go ahead and check the system variable reply and see if it equals yes, capital Y or lowercase y. Well, if it does, we're going to go ahead and launch our command. So we'll go ahead and give a little feedback here to let people know that we are indeed going to nuke this database, and that it's in progress. Launching missiles at target 1. And now here's the actual meat. This is what I did in the command line in the meeting that I was in where we needed to do this. MySQL dump -- add drop table. That tells it to give us a drop table if the table exists. -- no - data. That means we don't want any data, just the table names. And then we need to pass a username, which is $2. And then, yes, this database requires a password, and here is the password. You can eliminate the - password part if you don't want the password to pass the password over the command line. If you eliminate - password equals $3, then it will prompt you for the password at this point. So that's a little more secure in a multi-user environment. And then $1 is the database name. Next, we're going to pipe this to grep. And grep lets us pull out just the lines we want. So we're going to look for the lines that have drop table. And we're going to dump those lines to a text file called droptables.sql. Now, the next thing we want to do is do a conditional statement. So a double ampersand means if the previous command, the command to the left of the double ampersands, successfully completes, then do this next command, else skip it. So if that MySQL dump command did work, it will now do the following command. So now we're going to do MySQL -u $2 for the username -p -- password equals $3. Again, you can get rid of the -- password equals $3 if you don't want it. And then $1 for the database name, and we're gonna reverse pipe or reverse cat drop tables.sql. That's gonna inject those drop commands into MySQL onto that database, in effect basically deleting all our tables. Now we're gonna say, but if they hit no or anything but Y, we'll just say echo mission aborted. Have a nice day. And then echo to clean it up a little, exit, and then FI to finish this then statement, and then when we're done, we'll just say echo your database $1 has been nuked. Echo cleaning up temporary files. And this is, we'll go RM string, or not string, that's old school, drop tables.sql. So we'll clean up ourselves here by deleting that file. Echo done. Echo. And that's it. That should work for us. Hopefully I didn't make any typos, which wouldn't be abnormal for me. It'd actually be pretty darn common. So we're going to write this, and then hit quit and we'll test it. We'll do SQL. Okay, first off, I want to show you, I do have a database. Show tables. This is the database we're going to do. We have 97 tables in here. And this is a Drupal database that I had laying around. So we will go ahead and see if we can nuke this database. SQL Nuke. Oh wait, we got to make it executable. Chmod a plus x SQL Nuke. Okay, now we can run it. So SQL Nuke. Our database name is dbfratum. Our database user is dbuser, and our password is abc123. Hit enter. It's going to confirm. Are you really sure you want to nuke this? Want to nuke dbfratum? Let's hit no just to see what happens. Mission aborted. Have a nice day. And we'll go over here and make sure it didn't really show tables. And yeah, our tables are all still there, so it didn't do it anyways. So let's hit this again, and we'll hit yes. Launching missiles at target dbfratum. Your database dbfratum has been nuked. Cleaning up temporary files. Done. Now LA, see if that drop. Yeah, I don't have a drop tables file, so it did clean up after itself. And then my database, show tables, empty. And it's that simple. So just to clarify, if you don't want to pass the password to the command line, you can just get rid of this and then get rid of this and get rid of this. We still need the -p in there to say, hey, this database needs a password, but it'll prompt us now. And I'll show you. I'll repopulate the database just to show that it works. We'll go back over here, background task that, and I actually have it on the command line here. Okay, so we just repopulated the database. So if I go in here and do show tables, you'll see we have our 97 rows back. Okay, so now we'll do SQL Nuke sh. Get rid of the password. Now this is more secure. People won't be able to see the password. Enter. Are you sure you want to get rid of it? Yes. Launching missile at target dbfratum. Enter password. See, now you need the password. ABC123. People won't see that. And the second time is for the second SQL command. ABC123. And it's doing its thing. Your database dbfratum has been nuked. Cleaning up temporary files. Done. Now if we go back to the database, show tables, empty. So, 2 ways to do it. I would recommend doing it where it prompts for the password, because you never know who's going to see the process table, or what if your shell account gets hacked and they look in your bash history and they see the password on there. I mean, look at this. History rep SQL Nuke. There's the password. So, technically the best way is to have it so that it runs that way. The server I was on, this made sense for me at the time. Anyways, that's it. A real simple script that you might find helpful someday. It's also on my website, www.fratum.com. Feel free to copy paste the code from there. I'll upload this code that we just wrote, and you feel free to use it. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like and a share. And also, I'd just like to say that I have a Patreon channel now. So if you go to fratum.com, pull that up. We have a Patreon link that takes you to my Patreon. We also have merchandise available, which is, I've done this before, never really sold much, but I thought I'd throw it up again. It's a Teespring shop. It has a logo shirt and some socks, and then another Linux shirt that I kind of designed one day. Actually, this shirt, I also have it on Amazon.com, and it's I've actually sold a few of them, and I get a lot of comments on this. People like it. Anyways, any money that you guys spend on Teespring for these products really helps the channel. So I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you have a great night. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.